We're less than 24 hours away from the Dolphins NFL Week 2 game, and we are here to answer some questions from our Thursday live show. I am Nic Rohloff. We got a bunch of super chats, and if you want to get on a mailbag in the future, make sure you join us on our Thursday live shows. We'll start off with Jonathan Soto. Appreciate you. Tyreek Hill trade only if they go at least 3-1 the next 4 games. Yeah, I completely agree. I think Tyreek Hill will be traded from the Miami Dolphins, period. But it will especially happen, and it will be an inevitability if the Dolphins struggle over the next 4. Like, the next 4 games are against the Patriots, Bills, Jets, Panthers. If you go 2-2 in those games, which means you would then be 2-3 with 3 games before the deadline, going up against the Browns, Chargers, Falcons, yeah, you're probably going to sell at the deadline. Like, I think anything worse than 5-3 should be sellers, to be honest. Like, even if they're 4-4, I would trade away Tyreek Hill, because if you're 4-4 with how easy the first 8 games were, you're not going to win anything in the playoffs. So you might as well get something in return for Tyreek Hill rather than nothing. But if you're under 500, you're absolutely selling. So I think Tyreek does get traded. That's my prediction, and I agree with you, Soto. They got to go 3-1 the next 4 to kind of dispel the selling rumors. Ron, around the same vein here. If Chris Grier trades Tyreek Hill to an AFC team, he is more incompetent than we think. Now, the most rumored teams for Tyreek Hill, if the Dolphins traded them, would be the Kansas City Chiefs and Pittsburgh Steelers. But I'll say this right now, Ron. I have no issue trading Tyreek Hill to one of these 2 teams. Why do I say that? Not my monkey, not my circus. They got to deal with the issues of Tyreek Hill now. I don't have to deal with it anymore. And plus, we're not competing with them. We're not. If we're selling, we're not competing with them. So what does it matter if they get Tyreek Hill for 1.5 years, 2 years before he ultimately is done from the NFL? I don't think it does. Like, I would agree with you in terms of the AFC East. I would not trade Tyreek Hill to the Patriots. I am not trading him to the Bills. I am not trading him to the Jets if any of those teams inquired. But when it comes to just the AFC period, I am absolutely fine trading him to an AFC contending team, because we simply aren't on that level if we're trading Tyreek Hill. Make sure you follow us over on Instagram. Dolphins Today IG is our handle. We put out more content over there. Instagram posts, funny memes, short form content that you can't find here on YouTube. So if you want more coverage on the Fins, well, go follow. 95 away from 1200. Let's get there ASAP. Sorry, soy sauce. Great name, by the way. This game is 100% a must-win. If we lose, the season is caked. We will most definitely start rebuilding. Tua, McDaniel, and Grier all bye-bye. Well, I do agree 100% on McDaniel and Grier. We'll talk about Tua here in a second. But I believe if the Dolphins lose to the Patriots this Sunday, like you say, it's 100% a must-win. So you lose. Well, you're going to lose the next week on Thursday Night Football against the Bills. That puts you at 0-3. I think Mike McDaniel would be fired the morning after that loss against the Bills, which would be September 19th. Because it would likely be embarrassing loss week 1, an embarrassing loss at home to the Patriots in week 2, and then you're probably going to get blown out in week 3 by the Bills in Buffalo. So it would be 3 straight embarrassing losses, and he was already the coach with probably the warmest seat and hottest seat coming into the year. Yeah, I'll see ya. Chris Grier should have been gone a long time ago, and if you fire McDaniel, you fire Grier as well. Now, when it comes to Tua, first year of a 4-year extension. Can't really get rid of him. And you're going to stuck with him at least this year and the year next year, because you have $79 million in dead cap if you cut him after this year. Probably not going to do that. So if you're thinking moving on from Tua, it would have to come after the 2026 season, where you have an out and you only have a dead cap of $36 million over the last 2 years. So if you're wondering when you could get off of Tua, it's either a trade, I don't know who would trade for him, or it's after the 2026 season. But when it comes to Mike McDaniel, pin comment, if the Dolphins lose in week 2 against the Patriots, should the Dolphins fire Mike McDaniel on the spot? Type Y for yes or type N for no. Well, if they do, we'll need to find a replacement. Mac Hudson asking if we should kick the tires on former Jets head coach and current ESPN analyst Rex Ryan. Mac? Absolutely not. Rex Ryan's a clown. He is. He's tried to get back in the NFL a lot lately in the last 3 years, and nobody wants to hire him because his ego is way too high. He's been out of the game for a long time, and I simply don't think he's that good of a head coach to begin with. Listen, the Jets made a couple AFC championships with Rex Ryan and Mark Sanchez, sure. They didn't win anything real. Like, come on. I don't think Rex Ryan's even that good of a coach to begin with. Second part of this question would say bench Tua if he doesn't score 17 points by this halftime against the Patriots. You realize it's not often teams score 17 points in a half of football, right? That would put you on pace to score 34 points in a game, which, by the way, be the highest scoring team in the NFL. Like, that just doesn't happen. You get more scoring in the second half than the first half because adjustments be made. You get into the flow of a game a little bit more. I think 17 points by halftime is very harsh. I'll say this. If the Dolphins get shut out by the Patriots in this first half, we can have conversations about it. But I also will tell you, even if they are shut out in the first half, Tua is not getting benched with that contract, man, especially when your options are Zach Wilson and Quinn Ewers. More questions to come, but sponsor on today's show is Ethos. And in this day and age, you can't take anything for granted. When you lose someone close to you, you can't help but think about the future. With life insurance through Ethos, your family is protected. Life insurance is a perfect way to make sure you're covered, can help pay the mortgage or your kids' college tuition. Right now, you can get your free quote at ethos.com/NFL Daily. Ethos is an online platform that makes getting life insurance fast and easy to protect your family's future in minutes, not months. Life insurance is more affordable than you think. With Ethos, you can get a free quote and customize a rate that fits your budget. The process is 100% online with no medical exam required. Just answer a few health questions and get a quote in as little as 10 minutes. 3 million families have completed their applications and trusted Ethos to help find the right coverage already. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/NFL Daily. That is ethos.com/NFL Daily. Ryan, what's up, Ryan? Why don't you have Jon Gruden as a potential head coach candidate? You're referring to the video I put out earlier this week where I was talking about Bill Belichick and then 10 names I'm keeping an eye on for Miami throughout this year. I think Jon Gruden is cooked, similar to Rex Ryan. Listen, guys, if Jon Gruden didn't have the PR he has of the funny social media clips right now and working for Barstool, no one would think about hiring him as a coach. He wasn't good for the Raiders before they fired him due to the scandal in the late 2010s. I get it. He's a guy who lives, breathes football, and is a strong, leading individual. But he's been out of the game for a long time. And the last time we saw him, he wasn't that good. There's just way better options out there. Like, I would have to go probably down a list of 10 names before I would think about Jon Gruden. And I'm saying think about Jon Gruden. That's why. I think he's out of touch. And I'll be honest, I want someone who's been in the league, not working at social media and ESPN over the past decade or 5+ years. AJ Amendola with a 5. Appreciate you, AJ. Why in the world were some of the defensive players freelancing plays? Was it either the defensive coordinator's fault or Mike? So, AJ, I will actually answer this question. Anthony Weaver, I don't know if he's just sticking up for his players or himself. I don't know. He did say earlier this past week that he, on tape, did not see players freelancing as Bradley Chubb labeled it. He said that players blew assignments and did the wrong things, for sure, and he referred to a play like Iafatu Melifonwu, who was the deep cover 2 safety. Remember, cover 2, you got the 2 deep, you've got 2 short corners here, then you got 3 over the middle. And what happened is they ran a seam route to Tyler Warren and then an out and up for Michael Pittman Jr., or just a 9 from the outside. And what happened is that Melifonwu blew the assignment because he recognized the seam vert and didn't recognize the outside vert. So he just shifted completely inside to the Warren vert, in which left Storm Duck on an island. Duck did his job of playing the sticks in that short flat, and then Pittman Jr. was just right open behind him for an easy touchdown. So those are the type of plays that I think Chubb might have been referring to. Chubb also said that really quickly after the game, and maybe was in the heat of the moment. I don't think people were freelancing plays. I think there's a lot of blown assignments, which does come back to coaching, but I don't think people were freelancing and just saying, yeah, we're running cover 3. You know what? Shit, I ain't doing that. I'm doing man. Like that. I don't think that's what was happening. More questions to come, but hey, we're doing a Q&A. This is the most interactive Miami Dolphins community on YouTube. If you want to join the family and become a part of the fastest growing Dolphins YouTube page there is as well, hit that sub button right now. We'll be live tomorrow for week 2 action between Miami and New England. Subscribe and see you then. Jamie, Jaime, hopefully I won 1 for 2 there. Can you see Tyreek Hill gone after week 4 and McNutt's gone as well? Oh, absolutely. I'll tell you right now, and I said this earlier in the video, if the Dolphins lose to the Patriots and then get embarrassed by the Bills the following week and they're 0-3 with 3 embarrassing performances, McDaniel should be gone. Fired that Friday, September 19th. Like, Ari Gold, get TF out. Like, that's where I'm with McDaniel. And if the Dolphins are 0-3 or 1-3 or 0-4, like, yeah, trade Tyreek Hill. Now, you might wait until the deadline, November 4th, to try to generate more of a bidding war potentially. But I will say, if the Dolphins lose this week and then lose the following week against the Bills, which is the projected outcomes, in my opinion at least, I would expect Tyreek Hill to be off of the Miami Dolphins roster on November 5th, which is 1 day after the trade deadline. Predict the score of tomorrow's week 2 action, my goodness. Dolphins versus Patriots. If you watched my score prediction earlier in the week, I've got Dolphins losing this game 2017. Let me hear yours. Suey! It's like what Cristiano Ronaldo does, right? I'd be okay with Weaver as the head coach if he were to take the team to 10-7 and they got rid of Grier. Well, I'll say this, Suey. If they fire McDaniel, Chris Grier is gone as well. At least you would hope so. If Chris Grier stays and Mike McDaniel's gone, I'm out on the Dolphins, and I might be asking Stephen Ross to sell the team myself with a handmade sign outside of his office. Maybe I'd even find where he lives, too, and go outside his house and go, sell the team! Maybe, I don't know. But I'll say this. If the Dolphins started the year like 1-4, they fire McDaniel, and Weaver has the boys rally to a 9-3 stretch of the year to go 10-7, hell yeah. I mean, how could you not want him back? That's clearly a coach that rallied the troops, and the players want to play for him. Weaver had a pair of interviews and was a finalist for the Saints head coaching job, was in the final round of interviews for the Bears coaching job. Like, Anthony Weaver is pretty highly regarded amongst league circles. So, yeah, if Weaver became interim head coach and the Dolphins went on a run, he would absolutely be in top consideration for me to be a Mike McDaniel replacement. All right, I'll do it for today's show. Make sure you follow us over on IG at Dolphins Today. IG is the handle. More content over there, short form, memes, posts, highlights. So if you want more on the Dolphins, that's the place to find it.